This week on Moonshine and Music.
I mean, there's a lot of actually in terms of musical influence on my music is probably more trips that we had take as a family more than we'd go out west like to the Grand Canyon or something. And I had 2 brothers, 2 sisters, so the 5 kids, mom and dad, and then back to the station wagon, driving out down that hole was not part of your little girl tea party plans. Was there something you started to feel, could not comprehend?
Hello, welcome to episode 15 of Moonshine and Music, the perfect music show. I'm your host, Joe Shelton, and today we have Bryce Taylor on tap for you. He's going to tell you a lot about when he grew up and how he writes songs. It's really an interesting little interview. Bryce and I are really good friends, and I'm really happy to have him on the show today. He is one of my favorite artists, and he is one of my favorite songwriters, so I hope you really enjoy it as much as I do. I want to also thank today, before we get going, Brent Smith. He's been just spectacular, hosting, shooting more videos at his house this week. More shows are coming up. Several new artists that are coming, including next week we're going to have a hip-hop artist for the first time. His name's Skip. And so it's been a lot of fun shooting those episodes. Thank you, Brent, for letting us take over your place and put these things together. I also want to give a shout out to Eat New Media, which is our production partner. Go to eatnewmedia.com and get yourself a quote. If you need some video work done, they will definitely take care of you. All right, so let's get the show started. Here it is, Bryce Ernest Taylor coming up on Moonshine and Music. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. Bryce Taylor, how's it feel to be on the show?
Just fine. Chillier than April should be.
I agree.
But,
of course, January is always chillier than I think it should be as well.
Yeah.
And and we hope for a nice warm up to happen soon.
Yeah. Well, and I like, as I was mentioning earlier, I've seen some of your previous interviews, and you do such a good job, so I'm excited about that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, if you've seen a couple of them, then you know that we start from the ground up and try to figure out where you came from and what your origins are. So where'd you grow up?
Well, I'm still working on that.
You're still working on the growing up?
But I was born in Fort Worth, Texas.
We got Texas people.
Yeah. I was born Fort Worth, Texas, and then moved to Indianapolis when I was like in the middle of 6th grade, in the middle of a snowstorm, of course. And then was here, went back to school down in Fort Worth again, and then Denton, Texas, and then I've been to South Carolina, and then made our way back here to Muncie, Indiana. So that's like where I've been. Is that? Yeah.
So when you were growing up, what did your parents do?
My father was actually a minister for the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, and we actually moved from Oklahoma. We moved from Oklahoma. I missed that move, but from there, and he moved up here because the national offices are actually in the Irvington area, and so he did that for years. And my mom was a school teacher and has done that for years. I mean, she's retired now and all, but yeah.
And then, so you, where'd you end up graduating from high school? Was it in Indianapolis or?
Indianapolis, Park Tutor.
Park Tutor?
Yeah. My mom actually taught there, and so that's how we could afford to go there. But it was a very good school. For me, it was very good because it was small numbers. We had like 42 in our graduating class, and
it's larger now, right?
I would go back now. It looks like a college campus, and there's more people and more money, and it's always been a good school, but it's changed a lot. So.
Yeah. So, and then where'd you go to college?
Down in Fort Worth at Texas Christian University, and then I went to University of North Texas for.
So you went back to Texas for school?
Yeah, I like the warm weather. Yeah, it's good. And there's culture. There's more. I mean, it was interesting, moving down there because there's more, the Hispanic culture is kind of woven in there, and Mexican food and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm a big fan of Mexican food.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like going to Mexico.
Yeah.
So there is that.
I've never been to Mexico. I've been to Texas. Yeah.
Oh, I highly recommend all-inclusive resorts in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
It's just fantastic. You pay one price the whole week. They just, feed you a drink, get filled up with drinks, food, whatever. Yeah. Fabulous.
I've heard of those, and I think my wife did that before we were together, but yeah.
Yeah. So you're married and children?
Yep. I have 3 girls. Actually, the youngest is getting ready to graduate from high school, and so, yeah, we're in that process. And the others are, one graduated from art school and is going to be in England this next year, and then my middle one's studying chemistry in Ohio at Xavier. So, we're kind of...
Yeah, and you're a professor at Ball State?
I in my official I think I'm like associate professor or something it's in the special ed department, but I'm a psychologist, and I teach a graduate course in autism online, which allows me to do all this music stuff, so I can be here today. Well, I could be here anyway on Sunday, but
since it's a Sunday,
but it gives me a whole lot of flexibility in terms of when I have to grade things, and so I can do the music gigs at various times, like I've seen you at before.
Right. So you grow up down in with a father who's in ministry. Mm-hmm. And moved all around. That's got to just lead to a lot of different stories that feed into your songs.
Well, to some degree. I mean, there's a lot of different cultures. Because there's Texas on the one hand and South Carolina on the other. But when you're growing up, I guess I don't write a whole lot of songs so much about those early memories of maybe. And we weren't moving around a lot, But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of actually in terms of musical, influence on my music is probably more trips that we had take as a family more than we'd go out west like to the Grand Canyon or something. And I had 2 brothers, 2 sisters, so the 5 kids, mom and dad, and then back to the station wagon, driving out there. And we sang.
What kind of wagon? I have to have that detail.
Oh, there's different ones. I mean, we had so many. We had one that would open like a claw at one. I think it was an Oldsmobile. But early on, we had that one with the crank windows.
Oh yeah, those are cool. I always wanted to have.
And we probably had every kind. We had a diesel one time. So we would drive out there and we would have at that point probably 8 tracks, tape player, and we'd sing along with whatever John Denver, or we would just sing songs. We sang a lot together, and so that probably had a big influence on my music. More, I've never written. I should write a song about one of those trips.
Look, I'm giving you songwriting ideas.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I went to the Grand Canyon, some years ago, maybe 15 years ago or so. And I don't know if it was the same for you, because you just talk about that every time someone says they went to the Grand Canyon, even at any time. I think it was awe-inspiring to stand at the Grand Canyon, and there's no picture that ever can make you understand it.
Yeah.
Because you think before you go, it's a hole in the ground. How awe-inspiring can it really be? And then you step up there, and you're like, whoa. It doesn't.
Yeah, well, I don't think I totally I was pretty young when we went to that particular place, and I don't think I totally appreciated it. What I remember more about it was just being afraid of falling in.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely that. There was some girl doing cartwheels along the edge of it, and I was just freaking out. Because I was in my 20s, and I was just like, whoa, what is that girl? She's crazy.
Well, now
it's a long way down.
The different side of it, a Native American reservation. It must be Navajo. I think they built a
glass thing out over it.
Yeah,
that seems a little scary to me.
Yeah, if I wanted to treat my fear of heights, I might do that. But otherwise, I'm okay.
It seems like that submersion therapy or whatever they call it.
Yeah, right.
Would definitely work on something like that. I mean, And you can do it now, like on the in the Sears Tower. They have like the little glass box that sticks out from the edge.
Oh, really? See, I actually did that kind of thing, but it was up in Toronto. I went to a conference up in Toronto, and I thought, I'm going to go to they have some tower that has a glass floor, and I said, I'm going to, and the only reason I went there was just, okay, I'm going to try to, I'm, being a psychologist, like, okay, I'm going to do my exposure therapy, and it helps some, but I still, don't want to fall.
I don't want to fall. So, I mean, a curb looks really tall to me at this point, So if we have to, get up on something really high, I not too long ago, the other producer Brandon and I were shooting a music video thing.
All right.
And I stepped out onto the plaza at Greenfield.
Oh yeah, I think I saw you.
Yeah. Well, when I stepped onto that, I fell flat on my back, like that. It was so slick.
Wow.
And then I was going, ow, and I heard like in the distance, he was out in front of me. I heard him go, ow.
You sure that wasn't the echo?
No, it wasn't an echo.
He
We both bit the dust at the same time.
He fell too. I thought
that's why
he was being empathic.
He wasn't being empathic. Okay. He was being, he hurt too because he fell at the same time.
Wow.
So it was like a double fall kind of deal.
So did he get it on film?
No,
because that would, you could sync that to some music.
I mean, I know that that would have really worked well for any kind of a comedy routine because we absolutely, if there's like some city people from Greenfield who have like the security footage.
Oh, there you go.
Then
you could,
there probably is. There's some guy in the back room going, watch this, man.
Yeah.
But on back onto the the songwriting and the family.
Right.
I mean, does it? When you have kids, I know for me, if people have heard some of my songs, they definitely have my kids in them. Do you find yourself doing that as well? I mean,
probably that even more than writing. You're asking about writing about my family growing up. I don't write a whole lot about growing up, but more about my kids. It's kind of hard not to, like, they creep into my songs. Like, well, there's actually, I have a song, that I wrote kind of for each of my kids, when they were born, that kind of experience. And there's one that I probably, that's on my CD that I probably sing more than the others, but that's one way that it kind of comes in when it's directly about them. But there's also other times when I write, it's always about, I'm singing about a picture that I have in my head. I'm just real visual in terms of my memory and that kind of stuff. And so I'm trying to tell this story. It's like a movie, it's a picture. And so because they're in my life so much, oftentimes it's, they'll be a part of that.
Right. So you have your CD, you mentioned it. What's the name?
Yeah, it's a good question. Lighter Than Air is what it is. And it came out in like 2015. I have some other stuff recorded now that we should be getting out soon
working on
an
a new
EP.
thing?
Yeah. Probably the songs I sing today will be more those songs. I might sing one, the one I just mentioned that's on my CD, Lighter Than Air. But that's available all the places where those things might,
we got to get the plugs in.
Yeah. So, the CD Baby and
like iTunes and Spotify and such.
Amazon. Yeah. As well as, my website, you can go there and find things.
And I'll put in the show notes the links to all that. So those of you who don't want to like rewind 5 times, it'll be in the show notes. But you, are you currently just working on the record, or have you decided you're going to make one and you haven't gotten to it, or what stage is that in?
Well, about over a year ago, I recorded some tracks at Asthma Studios, and I wanted to be more trimmed down. This first CD had a lot of other instrumentation, and this just had me and then Kelsey from Von Strantz, who that plays the cello. So it's me and the cello and singing. And but that's been recorded for. I just need to mix it and get it mastered. And was actually talking to somebody last night who helped me with my previous CD, who will probably help me get this one done in the next few months. It's the balance in the family, balance in the work, and then playing out versus doing the studio, where I like to do a lot of this stuff myself, like the mixing and all myself. I had somebody else master it, and I'm trying to let go of that so I can get stuff done. but it's hard.
I understand.
I like to do the technology stuff. So.
Well, when you're putting together something like that, the control freak in you comes out, and then sometimes it's like, you know what, I'll be better off if somebody else takes this part or that part.
Yeah.
And it's hard to decide when that is for me. Mm-hmm. Do you find it is for you as well, or?
Yeah, one thing. Like I said, I was talking to Corey Miller, who did the mastering on my last CD last night, about possibility of working together again to get this done. And what we did last time is I would send him tracks, and he would listen to it and send me back feedback on it. Oh, hear this at this point, or you might want to adjust this. And then so I'd make some adjustments, send it back to him, or I'd say, yeah, I heard that, but what about this? And so it was a conversation and really a collaborative process. And so that really helped, and it kept me from just being in my head so much, getting the feedback from him, who's a really good engineer. He works both at the Lodge and at Asmus Studios, and we've done some work separately too. So.
Do you, on to other things? I was, I like to ask people about their musical kind of influences and things. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like in your life, like the favorite artists, people that influence your songwriting?
Now or in the beginning?
Well,
I
over
guess
time.
I could do it, but yeah. So early on, it was probably, and this is going to date me a little bit, but early on, actually, it was I had a cousin who played guitar, and just hearing him play. He looked like Cat Stevens. He had the dark beard.
Oh,
and all
really?
That kind of
Okay.
But anyway, he played, and that was an inspiration to me as a little kid. But in terms of music, my parents had, Jim Croce, and these are albums, of course.
I'll take Jim Croce all day.
Yeah, Jim Croce, and Simon and Garfunkel, and. I don't know if they had James Taylor or I ended up getting that, but James Taylor, Loggins, Messina, those kind of folks were the folks I listened to. They also had like Peter, Paul, and Mary, and those kind of influences. I just love harmonies, and so anything with harmony I really liked. Of course, I had older brother and sister, so I'd also get, other stuff like Deep Purple, and I don't know if you remember Smoke on the Water.
Do, yes.
and of course, Pink Floyd and all that, those kind of wonderful musical experiences.
So that was your early thing. What's today's?
Yeah, I really love the songwriter that popped right into my head in terms of songwriting. It was Ray LaMontagne. I really like in terms of his songwriting. I mean, it's like poetry. And Jason Mraz, probably more in terms of his performance style. He just seems to have such a way on stage, and I love his live recordings as well, because that comes across just free flowing. And harmony folks, Civil Wars, the Avett Brothers. Gosh, lots of people.
There's
a lot of good songwriters right now.
There's a lot of people in the indie music scene, and not just indie, but Indianapolis music scene, that love the Avett Brothers. I personally, Jim Holden, a friend of mine and yours. Yeah. I always like to say that I think that the Avett Brothers are just covering Jim Holden, because I heard like half of their songs when he was playing them before I heard. There's a lot of affinity for the Avett Brothers in the crowd here, and obviously I've started listening to their songs because like everybody I know is like, yeah, the Avett Brothers this, and they say here's a song from the Avett Brothers. I'm like, wow. So I didn't it's interesting to me how much of an influence that they've really had. Do you find yourself when you're choosing, like, do you? I don't know if you do a lot of cover songs at all. Do you find yourself choosing some of those in your set, or do you like go like back to the Pink Floyds and the Simon and Garfunkels, or
Well, one thing I found, I do I have a lot of covers that I do, but most of the time probably when you see me, it's more like open mics, and so we're playing, and in the indie crowd, the indie singer songwriter, seems like there's a lot of encouragement to play original stuff, which I really love, and so I love that I play it as well as other people, and so that's probably more what you hear. But when I play like at a bar or something where people aren't listening quite as closely to, and they want to hear more familiar stuff, and then I'll play what I find is like stuff like early like Simon and Garfunkel stuff. People love that, all ages, which is really interesting. But I do play, Avett Brothers stuff, Ray LaMontagne, Damien Rice, even older Loggins Messina stuff. Not so. I think I have one Stones song that I do, and I play "Wish You Were Here," which is my one Pink Floyd song. But other than that, but there's a whole lot of songs. There's a lot of good music.
I find myself like sometimes with certain artists going, "There's no way I can cover one of those." Like so like I just completely, even if I really love them, like I really love Johnny Cash, and I don't ever feel like I can do any of it any justice. So I just kind of avoid it, and then somebody will do some cover of it that's kind of creative, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's good."
Well, Johnny Cash, I just saw a dance program the other night that was Dance Kaleidoscope. Was and they did a dance to, I can't remember who it was, at 90s, the Hurt or something, I think is what it called it. Johnny Cash covered one of their songs. It's one of the last things he did. Well,
he did like
so that was kind of interesting. So you could cover Johnny Cash's cover of that. I could see you doing that.
Well, I could probably pull that off. But I find it tough to pick some of those sometimes because the originals are just so powerful, or just so in terms of. Part of what makes them good is just the person who sang them, and not necessarily the song sometimes as well. That's a tough thing. It just. So I always find it interesting to hear what other people choose, to do.
Well, and when I do them, people have joked about me like Bryceifying song because I'll do a cover, and it will you'll know what it is, but it doesn't sound exactly like it. Even something like Free Fallin', I do much faster and. Different songs. And it's not necessarily intentional.
I feel like Tom Petty or Johnny Cash, if you're doing a cover of it, you have to get creative, because otherwise you're gonna not match up.
Well, maybe that's a part of it. The other thing is just part of my personality. Like I see like recipes for food as like a suggestion, like you might do it this way, and I kind of see.
So your biscuits and gravy might have some really strange bit to it.
Oh, they did their song this way, but they might have done it this way. Well, and you probably know from recording too, that's just how you happen to do the song that day.
Oh yeah.
It's just one thing, and you might do it different when you play out tomorrow. So and that's the same with.
So when you're recording, that brings up a good point. Do you feel that evolution? Like you record the song, and then like 2 months later you go, I don't do it that way anymore, like at all. Like what?
I've made the mistake of, and I went back and re-recorded a song for other reasons, but I'm glad I did. Recording a song too soon before it had time to work all the kinks out and ferment. And there's a song, I'll play it a little bit later, called Alice, that I recorded once and with the cello, but then we went back in the studio because for various reasons. But when I went back, it was so much more ready to be recorded. And so it does evolve, and usually, hopefully, evolves to something better over time, just little intricacies.
I've noticed that with songs that I've written, but also with cover songs. As I play the same cover song, like I just, suddenly just something new happens with it.
Or you'll put it away for years, and you say, "Oh yeah, I used to do this song. I'll pull it out," and then it's a whole different, because you've changed. You change over time, so the songs change.
Well, I never thought of it that way. I just kind of thought of it like, maybe I got better at playing it, or better at playing different kinds of things. And then suddenly, but it is just, I guess, that
but that's you changing. That's me changing. If you're getting better, you're changing. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm feeling the psychoanalysis coming to the forefront. And we don't need to cry today, so we're gonna stop short of that. But are you feeling like ready to come out and play some tunes?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back with some music from Bryce Taylor.
Okay.
Thank you for being on today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good.
Next week on Moonshine and Music, hip-hop artist Skip comes into the garage area. It's the first one outside the garage, and he's going to bring you something that sounds like this.
They support you, they adore you, do anything for you when it's beneficial. I'm thinking one time, fool me once, 2 times, fool me twice. I told them 3 times, you played yourself, there won't be a 4th time, baby, we through for life. I'm thinking.
Ow! Oh. Oh, so you want me to start playing, I guess, or saying? Okay, so this first song is a song about this little girl, not one of my girls, but this other girl, British girl, who was like having a little tea party or something, and then went off someplace else, like down a rabbit hole. And yeah, her name was Alice. Alice, sweet Alice, I don't understand. Chasing that dapper rabbit down that hole was not part of your little girl tea party plans. Was there something you started to feel, could not comprehend? The dreams scurry by, catch them if you can. Alice, did impatience persuade you on down that slippery slope? Or was something going on inside we did not know? Did not know. Oh, how did it feel to grow and grow and grow? Getting old don't stop you playing. Stop playing, you'll surely feel old. Curiosity is the key. It's not the answers, no, the questions that set us free. Imagination is a weapon. Reality is killing me, killing me, killing me. Imagination seeds creation, let it be. Now Alice, that queen of hearts, yelled, off with her head. You were right to protest sentencing before that verdict was read. You're just cards in a deck, no one cares for you, you said. If you weren't, someone did. Perhaps they would wish no one dead. What is mad? What is real? Where's the line between think and feel? Oh, what is mad? Oh, what is real? Where's the line between think and feel? Think and feel. Now Alice, there's so many things that just make no sense. Like when we need a bridge and we build a fence. A fence. Try to make stronger children by killing confidence. Perhaps we all should follow a child down that hole now and then. Curiosity is the key. Not the answers, no, the questions that set us free. Imagination is a weapon. Reality is killing me, killing me, killing me, killing me. Imagination seeds creation, let it be. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the studio. Which one next? I think I will do, this next one is, for all those singers, songwriters, or other folks, creative people, comedians, there's one in the studio today, who are, searching for that creative, I think we're all kind of artists, looking for that creative force that's often called the muse and sometimes personified as a beautiful woman, but that's really not what it's about. It's about that creative force. And this song's called The Man with the Muse, and it's about kind of my longing for that. Let's see. Oh, and these two, the last one and this one will be on the next EP that I'm working on right now. The man with the muse is a room with a view, in the clouds where he gains his perspective. All the pain and the love he sees from above, reacting perhaps, but reflecting. Because he is up there, safe from the cares and the stares and the wounds of dreams ripping away. And he paints and he prints big ideas that make sense while we scrounge for some morsel of meaning at the end of each day. I want to be you. I want to be you. The man with the muse. There through the window, you alone, sipping coffee, wondering what it'd be like to just be. And I'd burn with the passion, be consumed by these visions, but empty don't make a man free. And you know so much more, seen these patterns before. You paint them in such vivid colors. I begin to believe, not to trust what I see, and that things can somehow get better for me and the other lovers. I want to be you. I want to be you. Believe, and I could finally be me if I had the view of that man with the muse. So I walked down the street, staring down at my feet. One step follows the next in succession. But what if I was to stray, bemuse myself today, and see a step outside as an expression? Oh, being alive, pulling out of this dive, saying life, pick me up and take me, oh, take me. Would I rise like you above, even risk feeling love and give 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 and never feel empty? I want to be you. I be you. Oh, and I know I believe, and I could finally be me if I had the view, that man with the muse. Thank you. Thanks. Gee, for my third song, I will, let me see. I think I will, yeah, I'm going to do a little lighter one. I had something more heavy planned, but those two were a little bit, I think I need to lighten it up. Well, so this one, I mentioned about my daughters in the interview, and this is the, and I think I said I was going to play this song, so I should probably play this song now. But this is a song I wrote for my third daughter. I have 3 daughters, as I mentioned, and this, I wrote a song for my first. Any of you if you have kids, you know, you do something for one kid, and then the next one you kind of have to do the same thing or something similar. So I wrote a song for my first. So then you got to write one for the next, which was fine. You know, I like writing songs, so that works out well. And but those first 2 came out pretty well, both the daughters and the songs. And then this third one I had a lot of struggle with, not the daughter, but the song. Until one day we had this thing happen where the sunlight shines through at a particular time of day, particular time of year, and made this rainbow across this open room that we have. And that just inspired this song. It didn't have so much to do with her other than she was with me and we kind of danced in the rainbow a little bit, or the prism, but it looked like a rainbow. Yeah, so this is called, it's on the CD, the one CD that I have out, and it's called Perfect Day. Let me get that. The thing about these capos is you got to put them on the right way or it doesn't sound. There we go. Yeah, Joe was in between, was giving me a hard time about give me a hard time that he hadn't given me a hard time yet about my capos. So I'll take it. I like playing with him. So this is called Perfect Day. If I could weave a perfect day, I'd weave it with the golden rays of sunshine. Oh, I'd weave in a little happiness when thinking and talking in the grass till the moonshine becomes our light, comes to tuck us in comfortably in our skin. Whoa, you never know all the ways you kept me going. So wise beyond our fears, see from where our stream of tears is flowing. My dream is knowing your tiny hands are growing. We delight in colored light shining through the fish tank, just right, making rainbows. And it's the little things we understand, like telling stories, holding hands, makes our love grow. And we both know when life comes streaming in, have a friend. Show me the sun, remind me dancing's fun. Show me the sun, remind me dancing's fun. If I could weave a perfect day, weave it with the golden rays of sunshine. Little happiness, I'm thinking and talking in the grass till the moon shines. Becomes our night light, comes to tuck us in. You've been working so hard to get comfortable in your skin. Whoa, you never know all the ways you kept me going. So wise beyond our fears, see from where our stream of tears is flowing. My dream is knowing your tiny hands, your beautiful mind is growing. Thank you.
Bryce Taylor, thank you so much for coming and doing the show. Really, really appreciate you coming in and putting on that incredible performance. We really, really, really enjoyed it. Every one of us, as we put this show together, have played that one a couple of times. Fantastic job. Loved having you on the show. Thank you a lot for joining us. Next week we got Skip on tap. We've got Jeff Kelly coming up, Jim Holden, Mariah Haven, Mikey Good, John Martin, Gypsy Moonshine, Dakota Mucky. I mean, it is a fortune of people that are coming to the show very, very soon. And we really, really appreciate you tuning in and watching Moonshine and Music. Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Eat New Media in association with Notlehs Entertainment. Producers for today's program are Brandon Lay and Joe Shelton. Be sure to join us next time on Moonshine and Music.